So we're in here looking at the Conchee reef, and this is the Conchee. It actually goes quite a bit further out there. It's quite, well, I'd say it's quite dangerous. It's very dangerous. It's very far out. Just to think we walked from Guernsey all the way out to this. So just scouting out where the engine is.
The island was battered by force 11 to 12 winds and the seas were huge when the signal station at St Peter Port received a distressing call from the master of a 2,000-ton Cypriot ship, saying that his ship engine had failed and that the vessel was going around and around. This is the sad story of the shipwreck of the Prosperity, where 18 people lost their lives in a hurricane shortly after 2 AM on the 17th of January 1974. Some of the bodies were buried in the full-on cemetery. The propeller from the Prosperity was brought ashore by the Channel Island Diving and Salvage Company, free of charge. Its sail, thought to have fetched at least £1,000 or more, was floated down towards Vazon Bay. The money raised from the sale of the propeller will go towards the Prosperity Memorial Fund. The intention is to erect a memorial stone on the west coast and supply scholarships to youths wanting to join the Merchant Navy. The Cypriot government also contributed £100 towards the fund. The brother to the lost captain also made a brief appearance at the ceremony. There is a display of artefacts from the shipwreck in Fort Grey Museum. The engine seen here in 1975 looks almost the same in May 2020. But I'm sure the thing that everyone remembers most is all the timber that washed up ashore. I bet you loads of people on the island got sheds made out of this stuff. The Prosperity was sailing from Finland back to Greece. Once we had arrived at the rough location, we didn't know exactly where the wreck was, so we went back for a few messages from Andy Lowe and Chris Stevens, and we kind of guessed in what location it was. I decided to go in first and have a little look around for myself. I know this wreck's been dived before, but I'm unsure it's ever been filmed. So in my mind, what I'm envisaging is a piece of bell section, so something that looks like it's snapped off from the front of a boat. The problem is I'm meant to be looking for a shipwreck and I keep getting sidetracked. pollock had a parasite stuck to its head. So as I'm swimming along, I see this little white thing on the seabed. To me it looks like a ceramic isolator of some sort of electrical equipment. Am I getting close to the shipwreck? It's no good. I'm going to have to return to the surface and let Matt Eaker have a little look. Matt Eaker has now got in the water to see if he can find the bow section of the Prosperity. The fog has completely come down now, with visibility down to about 50 metres.
It's kind of wreck-like. Maybe. Can you see that, or is it just doing lines? I think the frame rate might be a bit dodgy to view that. So Matt's done the business again. He's found another wreck. Rediscovered another bit of wreck. So I'm gonna have to get back in my gear again and go down the line and see what we got, see what we found. The fog's even clearing a little, look. Bonus. So what does it look like? It's like a bell?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh well, I'll get ready and we'll go back down.
I could just make out there's loads of sand eels swimming around the top of the wreckage. As soon as you enter, you can tell the whole thing is upside down on itself. This thing here looks like some sort of electrical motor. Just the rear part of a porthole left. The outside's already been taken. Just trying to look around and assess how well this thing's held together, because I really don't want to be in here if it's about to collapse. This may sound trivial, but I'm making sure my air bubbles are leaving the wreck and not pooling inside the wreck, because if it does, it could potentially give it some upwards force and make it collapse. You can just work out that these are rubber hydraulic hoses. Just trying to get a better look behind all the debris, just to see what's in here, to try and figure out what it is or where we are. Pretty well camouflaged for the bow of a ship. Here's another one of them electrical motors that's been ripped off its mount. This looks like some sort of a winch that's snapped off. Maybe it is to pull the anchors up. This image here shows it's actually upside down. There's the bollard. I'd just like to say 100% respect was given to this wreck site, as 18 people unfortunately lost their life in this shipwreck. You can see this is another one where the outside, which had the glass in, has actually been removed, and there's just a storm shutter left. During this storm, I'm sure that these would have actually been latched closed, so at one time someone's been down here and removed them. This is the mount where the other motor had fallen off from. I'm guessing this is some sort of winch. The more I see of this wreck, I'm unsure it's actually the bell. I think this is a centre section of the ship. Just to your left you can see another bollard, so this thing is completely upside down. Just trying to figure out what I'm actually looking at. Looks to me as if it's this top area of the deck. Just have a look at these little white boxes on the top, with this door to the left, and also the fixings that are sticking out the floor, which would have had timber decking attached to it. Having one last swim around the outside of the wreckage, just to see if there's anything else I've missed. This wasn't the only time the Prosperity had sunk. It had sunk due to enemy attack in Bremen on the 30th of March 1945, after 38 Allied enemy aircraft were on a mission to bomb the submarine yards in Bremen. It is not known if the vessel was struck directly or by crossfire. She was refloated by the US salvors and returned to Amsterdam in May 1946. In December 1946, much needed repairs were carried out, and in July 1947, seeing her back in service for the original owners. The vessel was later sold in 1968 for £50,000 to Primavera SG Co Limited, Famagusta, Cyprus, with no name change. In 1969, seen a name change to the Mariana, and then sold again back to Baki Shipping Co Limited of Famagusta, and finally renamed Prosperity.